Hey guys, welcome back to another plan with me. This week I'm planning from June 5th to the 11th, and I'm using this Caress Press kit called Theater. And the reason I'm using this kit is because we actually did go to the theater this weekend. We went to, I think it's called the Kimmel Cultural Center. I want to say that's where we went. And we saw Beetlejuice again. And let me tell you, there was a lot of drama behind this whole thing. I will admit a lot of it was just in my head, and my anxiety made everything so much worse than it was. But if I could go back and do it all over, I would have done things sort of differently, maybe been a little more selfish, to be honest. But we'll get into all that. As far as this kit goes, I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty underwhelmed with how I used it. I don't love the way it turned out. And it's funny, while I was pulling this kit, I was going through all of my stickers like a crazy person looking for the label add-on. And then I realized this is a Caress Press kit. There is no label add-on. And I definitely didn't have enough labels to do this spread. You will see. And it's not like atrocious, but it is obvious that I had to pull labels from my stash that don't match the colors perfectly. But I don't think that's the reason. I don't know. I'm really not happy with how I used this kit. Maybe it was a little too plain for my liking. I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. It just, maybe because my previous spread was so colorful and crazy, this one just seems really like dull to me. But regardless, it's a beautiful kit. The color scheme is beautiful. I just don't love what I did with it. As far as this week goes, it was another stressful week. Normally on Tuesdays, I would have some time to myself and do some planning. But I ended up running errands this day, assuming that would mean that I wouldn't have to run anymore for the rest of the week. Little did I know. Again, we will get to that. And so this weekend was Beetlejuice. And I thought about telling the whole story, but number one, I think I'll just end up getting confused during the voiceover. Like, I'll confuse myself and confuse you. And number two, it's a really, really long story, and I don't want to bore the people who are here for just a nice, quick video. But if you have any interest in me going on like a crazy rant about it, I would be more than happy to do that on Instagram. Just leave a comment below and I will do so. But the gist of it is, I originally wanted to just take Joe to see Beetlejuice because he's not a big fan of musicals, but I was positive this is the one that he would enjoy. Spoiler alert, he loved it, so that's good. But originally I just wanted to take him, but then I felt really guilty because I knew that my best friend / roommate had flirted with the idea of going again, and the show was on tour and like leaving Broadway, so this was sort of like a last hurrah. So I ended up inviting her. Long story short, she ended up inviting her entire family. I bought 13 tickets for everyone. I got everyone a discount, like a good discount, but still I felt like I couldn't do anything right. And it was a shit show. Let's just say it was a shit show. But anyway, that we will get into on Saturday. But right now, I will say that I did have to add some half boxes to my sidebar because I didn't have enough full boxes to fill it entirely. So I just marked that we saw Beetlejuice and that this week was pure chaos. Getting into the day by day, starting with Monday, the first thing I marked was that I just woke up feeling horrendous. I was tired, my body hurt, I just was not feeling great. New normal, being in your 30s, I guess. And I was going to go into the office this day. I ended up taking the bus to work because I I don't know. Either the walk was too long from Joe's place or something. I can't remember, but I did take the bus. And then I was just having a really weird start to my day. My computer wasn't booting up correctly. And as I've mentioned before, I need to clock in even though I'm salary. So I was getting really annoyed that I had been in the office for like 15 minutes and my computer wouldn't boot up so that I could clock in. But I YOLO'd and changed my timestamp because I will be damned if I sit in that office and don't get paid for it, or it doesn't go towards my hours, I should say. And then there was just some drama that is family drama. I'm not going to go into it because it's not my family, it's somebody else's family, but it did stress me out just hearing about it. So yeah, I just got really worried and my anxiety was just like all over the place as usual. Then I walked back to Joe's from work and listened to my audiobook, which again has just been lovely. I unfortunately took a nap. I was still and have still been on this weird Monday nap situation, just catching up on sleep from not sleeping Sunday night. And then Joe had yet another coupon for free food. He had a coupon for a free papadilla. I don't really know. I think it's supposed to be like a quesadilla or something. I don't know. It's honestly like a calzone. And he gets this like bacon barbecue chicken thing and he shared it with me and it was delicious. I loved it. Like I don't like Papa John's, but I would eat that. I would buy that. It was that good. And then the final thing for Monday was that we watched Yellow Jackets. Moving on to Tuesday, the first thing I marked was that I slept in, which is another thing I just really hate doing, but I am just tired all the time. Aren't we all? So I slept in, and then because my roommate was actually home this week, I didn't have to rush back to take care of the cats. So I decided to sleep in and work from Joe's place. So I started work at 8:30, which still meant I couldn't finish until 5:30, which is a sin. But still, if I had gone home, I wouldn't have started till 9, and that just is not acceptable to me. Because I was at his place and I don't like wasting my breaks, I vacuumed my car on my break, which was nice, and I used this little Coffee Monsters Co. car wash sticker. I didn't actually like wash my car, but vacuuming is still cleaning, so it counts. Then after work, we walked to CVS to pick up my prescription, and then we walked to Wawa because I had a coupon for a free hoagie. So we got that, and I think we just split like a meatball sub. Or no, when we were going to, but while we were in Wawa, Joe saw he had an email for his own free hoagie, so we got our own. And then after that, I was really tired and didn't want to do anything, but I wanted the rest of my week to be relaxing because I knew Saturday was going to be stressful. So Joe drove me to South Philly and took me to do all of my errands, went to Walmart, got cat litter and yogurt, went to Aldi and got my produce, and I think I got yogurt at Acme because they were having a sale. So he took me all the places. And then the final thing for Tuesday was just that the smoke was insane. And this is before I even really knew that the smoke from the wildfires were reaching this far. But we smelled burning and we looked around and couldn't see anything in the distance. So it was pretty freaky. But a lot of us now in the Northeast are, it's no surprise. But anyway, moving on to Wednesday, the first thing I marked was that I had a bug scare. For whatever reason, when I got home and went into my room, there were these 3 tiny little bugs on the floor, and they were just like dead. And if you remember, I had done like a deep clean of my room and did my annual spraying, but I will admit that the spray I've used is like 6 years old, so I don't know how long that bug barrier lasts, if it expires or what. It doesn't say anything on the package. Anyway, at the time, I was terrified that they were baby roaches. They weren't. They're just these dumb little beetle things, and I haven't come home to anything like that since. It was just like a weird freak thing, but the fact that there were 3 of them just like dead on my floor really freaked me out. So of course, on my break, I cleaned, or no, not on my break, just in general, I cleaned everything and did laundry. And then on my break, I went to Amazon and did a pickup. It's really annoying. Not that I have to, but I've been going to this creepy little laundromat that's like a 5-minute walk from my apartment to pick up packages from Amazon, because I'm still pretty sure that it was an Amazon driver who was stealing our stuff, and I'm scared. So I did that, and I thought it would be smart to kill two birds with one stone and do my run. And so I started my run by running to Amazon, and holy crap, my run back home was so hard. I was dying. My shins hurt. Like, I need new shoes. I need better shoes. We're just at that age where we can't be messing around with our knees and our shins and our joints and everything. So unfortunately, that will be a big expense that I don't feel like making. But it was terrible running in my shoes. After work, I played Toontown with my mom, and I had the movie Taurus on in the background. I was just curious about it, and it was probably one of the worst movies I've ever seen. Like, it was just terrible. Some of Machine Gun Kelly's music I really enjoy, but he's a little full of himself when it comes to the writing and acting area, in my opinion. If you love him, like, go off. It was terrible. And then the final thing for Wednesday after I got offline was that I planned and read a little bit before I went to bed. Moving on to Thursday, the first thing I marked was, so I also didn't mark work a couple days this week. I did work every single day. I didn't take any PTO or anything. I just didn't have space for it. So that happened again this day. So I did work, but then I also cut the cat's nails, and I filled my tire because it's just a whole thing. It keeps going flat. And then on my break, I did a full body strength workout, and it definitely kicked my ass. I was not ready for that. And then also something really exciting this day. It was the first time that I made like my own Frankenstein sheet for the silhouette. And it's really nothing to write home about. It's obviously, I'm sure a lot of you know, it's really easy, but still, it was the first time I did it. I think it was the Pride kit that I used. I actually don't know if it's a woman who made the kit. Whoever made the kit, they added so much stuff. It was amazing, but I didn't need a lot of it, and the items I wanted were on different sheets. So I figured out how to add everything I wanted, including the cut lines, to one sheet and save paper and ink. So that was just cool. It was just cool. It's all a learning situation with the silhouette, and I don't know, I'm really enjoying it. Then I planned and watched YouTube. So that was it for Thursday. Thursday was a very chill day. I was in a shitty mood, but what else is new? Anyway, moving on to Friday, the first thing I marked was that I worked. I ran on my break, and then this is what I was talking about earlier when I did all my errands on Tuesday, hoping that I wouldn't have to go back out. But as you remember from my last plan with me, if you saw, my roommate's car was stolen, and at this time she still didn't have a car, and so I offered to drive her to Walmart to go get snacks for her family, because they would be cheaper than walking to the Target. It was the nice thing to do, but let me tell you, 3 p.m. on a Friday is the worst time to drive to the South Philly Walmart. We were in so much traffic. Our trip was doubled in time, and then Walmart was busy as hell. So that sucked, especially because I didn't want to go on Tuesday and I had already been there. It was just like a whole thing. But you know what? That's life. It's fine. It was okay. At least I had my friend with me to keep me company on the drive. And then I just marked that we picked up snacks for her family. Then Friday night, I got a head start on cleaning the apartment because I really didn't want to have a bunch of cleaning to do before her family came. And I need things to be clean. So I cleaned. And then the final thing for Friday, which was just the best part of my week, I had so much fun, was I started setting up my mini bookshelves, and by start, I finished. I had to. There was no way to just work on one piece. It just like made the most sense to do it all at once. I was sitting at the kitchen table, gluing tiny little pieces of paper and tiny little mini books onto bookshelves for hours. I didn't finish until 1:30 in the morning, but I had a ball. I had a blast. So no regrets. Now moving on to Saturday, here's where everything goes a little bit crazy. First things first, I got my period this morning. So who doesn't love that when you're having guests and walking around town in the heat? Just add bleeding to that. So I got my period. And then even though I'd cleaned a bunch the night before, I saved all the vacuuming until the day of because of the cats and my roommate. So I needed everything to be perfect right before people came over. So yes, I vacuumed, and then I got ready, and then her family came and Joe came, and we all walked to this restaurant called Bar, I actually don't know how to say it, but I think it's called Bar Hig, for dinner. And some people really enjoyed it. Some people did not. For the most part, it was a hit, but my roommate's littlest brother was being like a little douche, so whatever. And then after dinner, we decided that we were going to walk all the way to the theater, and we were going to make a pit stop at the museum because her mom is obsessed with the Rocky movies. It's her favorite movie. They're all her favorite movies. So we took her to the steps finally. She's never been to the steps, and she got her picture taken with the statue. It was a whole thing. And then we just did like a bunch of walking and sightseeing on our way to the theater. And then once we got to the theater, one of her uncles and aunts and two more cousins met us there. There were 13 of us in total. It was a little ridiculous. And then it was time for Beetlejuice, which was really good. I do have a preference for the actor who played Beetlejuice in New York City, and they did have to make a couple adjustments to things just because the stage was different. Like, they couldn't fall into the floor like they could at the Broadway location, etc. It doesn't matter. It was still really good. I really enjoyed it. And then I marked that I was in my feelings because there was drama over seats. I'm not going to go too deep into it, but it just made me feel like shit because I had gotten everybody's tickets. I had gotten everybody a discount. And also, Joe and I were not in the best seats. We were not in the front row. Most of her family was in the front row, and then he and I were behind them with her aunt, uncle, and two cousins who had decided to join us last minute. So I did the best I could, but people were complaining about their seats and XYZ, and it was just so frustrating to me because, like, what more could I have done? And also, I didn't have a good seat. So, like, don't complain about your seat. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It just, like, I was fantasizing about just being there by myself because I can't deal with that. I can't stand when I think people are mad at me or that I did something wrong. It ended up all being in my head and everybody was fine and nobody was mad. But, like, the fact that I went above and beyond to get everybody discounts, it was a little bit of a smack to the face. So anyway, that was that. After the show, we all walked all the way back to our apartment and hung out a little bit, and they ate the snacks that my roommate bought and all that, and then they all left. And actually, I was a little disappointed because all I wanted was my ticket and a pristine playbill. And my roommate went home with her family because she didn't have a car. Her mom just drove her and took her, and honestly, she hasn't been back since. But she grabbed my playbill and Joe's playbill, and my ticket, which were in perfect condition, and left these two playbills that had been, like, rolled up and twisted and ripped and played with. And it's okay. She returned them to me in perfect condition, but I was just like the cherry on top. All I wanted was my freaking playbill, but okay. I was just like, I was in my own head. I was just very stressed out, very anxious, and everybody had a good time. So I can calm down. I'm never planning anything ever again. Just let me tell you right that. Or not, I shouldn't say that. I'm never inviting anybody ever again. I'm just getting myself a ticket and that's it. Bye-bye. Moving on to Sunday, the first thing I marked was that we woke up to the news that I-95 was gone. For those of you who don't live in the area, there is a major highway, I-95, that goes in and out of Philadelphia. It's like most trucks and whatnot use it. It's between New York and Philly. It's like a very important road. And this morning, on Sunday, a truck filled with, I think, gasoline or oil or something like that had crashed underneath part of the highway, exploded, and the highway collapsed. So that was pretty cool. Not really. So that was like crazy. And then I was just feeling really anxious, just on top of my leftover anxiety from Saturday. And the fact that it was Sunday, I was just not in the best headspace. Then we watched Yellow Jackets, and I realized this is a Christmas TV, but in my head it still makes sense because number one, it matches the spread, and number two, it's winter currently in the episodes we watched, so makes sense. Then I had gone to Joe's the night prior after everybody left, so I drove back home because I had to prep my lunch for the week and grab my work computer and take care of the cats again because my roommate was gone. And while I was home, I took a little nap, just a little depression nap, if you know. And then when I went back to Joe's place, we had planned on ordering pizza, and it was crazy. Every single pizza place we called, first we wanted Pizza Hut. They were out of the kind of pizza we wanted. Then we ordered this place that he had been wanting to try, or we tried ordering, went straight to voicemail that said they were sold out. And then finally we settled on Domino's, but it took an hour. It took us an hour just to order a pizza. So luckily the pizza was good. Otherwise I would have freaked out. But yeah, so I just marked that we got Domino's. And then we watched an episode of Jury Duty while we ate. Just at this point, it was just so late. There was really not much time left in the day. So after dinner, we just went on a walk to help digest. And yeah, that was pretty much it. Then when we got back, I had to get ready for bed, and yeah. So that was everything for this week. It was a so-so week. There were some good moments and then just some more stress. I just really don't do well with hosting, number one, and being the person that everyone can blame if things go wrong. And to be completely honest, the whole seats thing, sorry if you heard that truck, but it wasn't my fault at all. But I didn't want to throw anybody under the bus, so I just was sad in my head. But anyway, that's it. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.